Welcome to Listening to Music Mindfully. This is our final week in the Authentic Mindfulness series, and I'm really happy that this is the concluding subject because as a therapeutic musician, music and well-being is near and dear to my heart. So I'm really excited to share with you some of the ways that you can get the utmost benefit from listening to music. If you've been keeping up with these authentic mindfulness videos every week, then I want to give you a big thank you. I hope that you found some new, fun, easy, and unique ways to implement mindfulness in your everyday life. And most of all, I hope that you have found a practice that feels true to you. If you've missed any of these videos, then I'm going to post the links to every single one in the description box below. So after you watch this video, go and check them out. And while you're here, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go hit that subscribe button because even though Authentic Mindfulness is coming to a close, I have so many amazing videos in store for you in the upcoming weeks. So without further ado, let's begin our practice of listening to music mindfully. Most of us, when we think about music, we think of it in the category of entertainment. We listen to the radio, we stream music. When it's not COVID, we go to concerts. So this is something that we're very familiar with. But I want to talk about not just the entertainment side of music, but how music can be a therapeutic practice. After all, that is what I do for work. So as a therapeutic musician, I play to help heal and comfort. That is the general idea of what I do. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I incorporate my harp into a lot of my videos, and I show you how you can use music as a mantra or a focal point. And this is really similar to what we're going to be doing today. Now, don't get me wrong. Entertainment does have a lot to do with well-being, especially now during the pandemic. We're starting to realize how much we miss going to concerts and enjoying that music. There's a really big mental health component to going and listening to your favorite band or going to an orchestra concert and feeding your mind and your soul. Music is so deeply integrated into our humanness. Music has been around even before spoken language. So this is why we respond to it in such deep and intense ways. On the other side of this is passive listening. And this is what we tend to do when we just have music on in the background and maybe we're doing some chores or we're reading, writing, and things like that. So it's more the type of music that's in the background and we don't fully focus on it. There are benefits to both of these styles of listening. As a therapeutic musician, I actually facilitate passive listening in a lot of my work. I specifically tell people you don't have to pay all your attention to this instrument and to the music. Let it wash over you. And that still seeps in on a deeper level. And with my work, a lot of times we are trying to reach that deeper level. But today we're going to talk mostly about the active listening side of things. And this means that you're going to be focusing on the music, on the specific notes, on the tone of the instrument. And maybe you're also going to focus a little bit on how your body is responding or how the energy in the environment changes as you listen to this music. Before we get started, I want to debunk one last myth, and that's that in order to implement mindful listening to music, you need to have it be a style of music that's easygoing and like harp music or classical music, new age music. That is not true. I encourage you to try these exercises with jazz, blues, country, rock, grunge, whatever floats your boat. Just recently, I tried these types of exercises with a whole variety of genres, and it blew my mind. I was able to reconnect with why I love so many different genres of music. And I heard the different ways that the bands express their playing, the different instruments that they use. And I'm a musician, and I was still blown out of the water and just shocked by how much I learned by these simple listening to music exercises. But you don't have to be a musician to pick out certain elements of what you're hearing. You might not know the names for everything, but that's okay. No matter what, you still will have a response to the music. There will be certain melodies and certain instruments and certain words that resonate with you. And because music is so deeply rooted within all of us, this can be something that is very eye-opening, very healing, and very comforting. You'll probably notice certain memories getting called up, certain emotions, and you might just listen to the music and say, wow, that's a really cool sounding instrument. You might not know what it is, but that's okay. So how I'm going to conduct the practice today is that I'm going to use my harp, and I'm going to start by playing just one note. And I want you to listen to it and just take it in and see what comes to mind. You can focus on any imagery that comes to mind, or you can focus on the tone of the harp, how it sounds coming through whatever speakers you're listening to. And then I'm going to increase my playing, where I'll add a couple notes here and there. And I want you to see how the imagery changes in your mind, how the reactions in your body change, how the environment shifts. And then I'm going to play an improvised tune that will be unfamiliar to you. It'll be something that I'm making up on the spot, so none of us will have heard it before. And think about what comes to mind when you're hearing these melodies for the first time. And then I'm going to move on and play a tune that is familiar to us, that all of us know. And with that, you can think about what memories are coming to mind, if there's any nostalgia. So as with any mindfulness practice, remember that you have control over where you're guiding your attention. So this isn't about getting overwhelmed or getting too analytical or judging what responses you're having. This is about letting whatever speaks to you seep in, let it simmer in your mind, and then let it float out in its own time. And then gently guide your attention to something else. Also, if you find yourself being distracted by other things in your environment, then that's okay. Notice it, accept it, and then guide your attention back to the music. So before I start playing, I want you to make your way to a comfortable position, seated, lying down, whatever feels right for you in this moment. And try to quiet your environment and make it primed for listening. So make sure that you're listening with good quality speakers or headphones. Make sure there aren't too many superfluous noises. And then I just want you to breathe. As with any mindfulness practice, we want to set ourselves up to be in a calm and centered space in order to receive what we're about to practice. And this doesn't mean you have to be 100% calm when you begin, because of course we're going to go through this journey, and then hopefully by the end of it you'll feel more centered than when you started. But we just want to make sure that we're letting our bodies and our minds know that we're about to take in something that's going to be good for our well-being. And if it helps to close your eyes, feel free to do that. And just start to notice your breath. Whether it's shallow, deep, fast, slow. And get yourself ready for the first notes. as you hear this note, notice any changes that are happening in your body. Maybe your breath is starting to change its tempo. Notice if any images are coming to mind. Notice what the sound of the harp sounds like through the device that you're listening on. Does it sound pure and clear? Does it sound distorted? Do you notice any differences between the attack of the note when I strum that string and the resonance when it's just echoing? And remember, all of these are just guidance. So whatever is resonating with you, let that be where your mind goes. As I start gradually adding notes, notice any changes that happen in your mind or body. Notice if you have any emotional responses as the sounds of the music change. to begin bringing your attention back to your present moment. And if your eyes are closed, take your time opening them. And just sit in stillness for a little bit and think about the journey that you just experienced listening to this music. I played a variety of notes, melodies, chords. So whatever you experienced, just sit with that for a little bit. We're going to conclude this practice with a deep breath. So inhale everything that you just experienced listening to the music, and then just let it out with a big, relaxing sigh. Thank you for joining me in this practice. As I said, this is something that is very special to me, this blending of music, mindfulness, and well-being. So I hope that you will take these tips and try them with a variety of different genres of music. And if you do, let me know in the comments how it goes. And even this experience that you just had today, if there are any thoughts that entered your mind, any memories that got called up, any feelings you experienced that you would like to share, please leave a comment below, because I'm sure we would all love to read about your experience. So that concludes our Authentic Mindfulness series. Thank you so much for coming along with me. I really enjoyed creating these videos because they help us to understand that mindfulness doesn't just have to be sitting in meditation, in silence, or being guided in a meditation. We can make mindfulness work for us. So to conclude this series, I want to talk a little bit about how this mindfulness practice can help you in your mind, body, and soul in your everyday life. Because we talked about how you can implement mindfulness in everyday activities, but what does that actually do for our health and well-being? Well, on one hand, there's the more tangible aspect of it, where if we acquire these skills, then if we experience a stressor out in the real world, we can go into our mindfulness toolbox and we can find ways to react in a less stressed out manner. So think, for instance, if you're out driving your car, running errands, and somebody cuts you off, you can have a very angry reaction and you can be stressed about it for the rest of the day. Or you can dip into your mindfulness toolbox. You can say, you know what? I am a mindful person and I know that this reaction isn't helpful for me. So I'm going to let that anger go and I'm going to just appreciate the fact that I did not get into an accident. I'm safe and I can go on with my day. That is such a powerful tool to have. And then we have to think about it in the sense of if you are already mindful in your everyday activities, like driving, not only can this help to save you some stress because you'll probably notice that person about to cut you off and you can start your reaction a couple seconds or even milliseconds earlier, and every little millisecond helps. But also, driving while being more mindful and paying more attention, that can also be a safety measure. So think about it in that sense too. Or even just less dangerous activities at home. We went over brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth can be really boring. It can be really mundane. So what happens if you make an activity out of it and you think, I'm going to notice everything that I smell as I brush my teeth today? Or I'm going to notice everything that I feel as I brush my teeth today. What does that do? It engages your mind and it helps our neurons to connect and to fire. And that's so good because that increases our neuroplasticity. That means that we are feeding our minds and we're not just going through the same old, same old. And that's really good, especially as we age and we start to lose some of those connections in our mind. We're going to keep our minds sharp with simple mindfulness tools. And then there's the less tangible aspects where we are learning how to be more patient, more even-keeled, more gracious. And these are things that we can carry with us in all aspects of our lives. So don't forget about your little mindfulness toolbox that you are creating. And you can dip into it whenever you need to, and hopefully as a regular practice. But you will find ways to respond that feel like you. And you might say, well, I'm just an angry person. So if somebody cuts me off on the highway, I'm just going to get really mad and blast my horn and I'm going to chase them down with my car. I don't know. But that doesn't have to be who you are. You can respond with anger. That's a completely normal emotion to respond with. But then you have to think about, do I really want to be angry about it for the rest of the day? What does that do for me? What does that do for my health? What does that do for my psyche? So think about that. And think about an alternative reaction or a tip that you can tell yourself to let go of that anger a little bit faster and make it feel right for you. And over time, more of these reactions will feel right for you. You don't have to be an angry person. You can learn over time. You can develop habits using these skills. So thanks again for joining me in this Authentic Mindfulness series. If you missed any of the videos, like I said, I posted them in the description box below. So go check them out. Give this video a thumbs up. Go forth and conquer and enjoy these new skills that you've developed. Thanks.